and we can,
Yeah, sure. 1 minute, sir. Sir, I'm audible, right?
Yes, very much, loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I'm
So
going
I'm
on
able
mute.
to, sure, I'm able to see Mr. Kranthi. You look good, sir. Sorry, I couldn't see the screen before. So yeah, okay. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first session of by Helios Club. So we have our incredible speaker today, Mr. Kranthi Kiran. If you hear his impeccable credentials, I'm sure you'll be, you will be excited to know more about him. So very quickly, Mr. Kranthi Kiran has a bachelor's in chemical engineering from IIT Roorkee. He has a master's in business administration from IIM Bangalore. He joined Freudenberg in 2008 as the member of the Freudenberg India Entrepreneurial Leadership Development Program. Following the year-long program, he joined Klueber Lubrication India and held diverse roles across functions, which ranges from production, sales, pricing, customer service to regional project management. As part of his short-term assignment, he moved to Klueber's headquarters in Munich in the year 2018 as one of the founding members of digitization team and contributed greatly towards proof of concept testing and successful positioning of digital solutions in the market. And following his successful stint at Munich, he has moved back to India with his new role as the head of digital business for the APAC region. He also loves to travel, and he is a certified yoga instructor and conducts one-on-one sessions and group workshops on request. His Yoga for Empowerment program, which is aimed at bringing a very holistic approach towards health into India's villages, and he has been specially recognized by the Freudenberg Group as a good example of active employee engagement and someone who practices social responsibility. He's an ardent traveler whose experiences have been featured in the form of podcasts, interviews, and blogs on various travel websites. And apart from this, he also is a dance enthusiast. Can you believe it? A doodle artist, an instant photographer, and an avid blogger. I think, how much can one person do? I think he's a classic example of that. I think if you have the faith, if you have the passion, if you have the belief in yourself, I think you can do anything. Coming to his belief system, Mr. Kranthi believes in achieving self-mastery through lifelong learning, sharing, and growing. He likes to experiment with his own views on life and leadership through meeting people with varied backgrounds and exposing himself to unfamiliar surroundings. He loves a hands-on approach to problem solving and working in diverse teams. In a nutshell, that's Mr. Kranthi Kiran for you. Incredible person. I'm sure he will have lots of his life's experience to be shared with all of us. We can't be more relevant. It can't be more accurate, I would say, if that's the right word, to be kickstarting the Helios session with this particular speaker. And we definitely, Mr. Kiran, we definitely are going to come back to you with more sessions where you can engage with our students. For the moment, let's, I would like to leave the platform for you and start interacting with all of us. And, a very good evening to you, sir, on behalf of Dayanand Sagar University and on behalf of the Curiosity Club, the members, the faculty, the dean, the founding members, the students, the staff, everyone. We can't wait to hear from you, sir. Over to you, and a very good evening to you and all of you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Rajan, for this introduction. I'm in fact very humbled and privileged to be part of this club, addressing this club today. And I hope to engage you for the next 30 to 45 minutes on this topic. And also would love to hear from you in terms of any questions you have on this topic, yeah, also seek suggestions in terms of what we could do better or what you gain from this workshop or whatever you want to call this. Okay, wonderful. Once again, welcome to this session. I am just happy to be a part of this. Let me share my screen. I have some slides for you, and I also have some videos to share for you on this topic, and I hope it will be useful to really know what we are doing in the space and how companies are really tackling this challenge of energy efficiency and environment protection. And so I'm going to focus a lot on energy and environment today. And when I asked Professor Ramesh yesterday as to what the objectives are of Helios Club is, he wrote to me this way. He said, we want to, this club was formed to acquaint the students with the challenges being faced by the energy companies and their impact on the environment and actions taken by these energy companies in collaboration with the customers to convert themselves into sustainable businesses. To this, I would like to respond saying that every company when you form a company, you always not just look at profits, but also look at how we are responsible to the planet and the people occupying this space. So, maybe you're all aware of this triple bottom line approach to running businesses. And I believe strongly in this, that any company that's formed, whether you form it or you are part of any company, should be making sure that these three profits, people and planet are served. Yeah. So with that said, I'll just share my screen. Okay, let's do this screen.
So while you're sharing your screen, I would just like to make a very small announcement to our participants that while the session is on, we would encourage all the participants to put in their questions in the chat window. At the end of this session, just so that we don't interrupt the speaker, we will take the questions one by one, the relevant ones, between myself and Professor Ramesh. We will post the question to the speaker and he will answer your questions. So, sir, is that okay with you?
Absolutely fine. So
thank you,
please
sir.
feel
Over
free
to you.
and yeah, keep it very interactive. No problems. You can always even stop me if required. I'll only ask questions to you if that's what I feel is right at that point of time. But anyway, let's begin this session right away. I'll try to finish it by 7:35 or 7:45. Yeah, so I have 35 minutes to go. So the topic I have chosen to present for you is how companies can increase their energy efficiency and achieve their sustainability goals with specialty lubricants. Now, take out specialty lubricants for a while and just think of what companies should be doing, to really make sure that whatever they do is energy efficient. And these days companies, all of them have sustainability goals. I go to meet customers that they have targets like carbon emission targets or energy targets or targets which are linked to cost reduction. So the challenges are very different now. It's because of the way we are living right now in terms of our lifestyles, in terms of how we operate ourselves and how companies operate themselves. And so therefore you see that these topics of energy and sustainability have been increasingly being relevant and important for every company and every person individually as well. So I will touch upon that as well as give you some glimpses on what Klueber is doing in this space, and hopefully you will get something from this session to take back for your own integration of these goals for yourself. Okay, so the flow of this, okay, let me take this off. Yeah, the flow of this session will be this. First, I'll cover the global challenges that are being faced by the world. Second one, customers' expectations in the light of these global challenges. The third one is Klueber's solution to these challenges. Klueber as a specialty lubricant manufacturer to these challenges, and then an outlook for the company and the world. And finally, we'll open it for sessions, for question and answer session. Okay. Global challenges. First of all, as you know, right now we're in 2021. The population is on a rise, and by 2100, you can expect the population to go up to 10 billion. And so this actually means that the resources that we're going to consume, if we're not very conscious and conscientious, it's only going to increase, which means if you focus on, take a pointer, focus on this, the energy consumption, this is going to increase because the housing needs, we want larger houses, the food needs are going to increase, yeah. The housing needs are going to increase, as I said, and also the clothing, and our mobility is going to also increase. And also, in addition to that, we are also living longer, which means that we're going to consume more resources in our lifetime than earlier times. So you see that the pressure on the planet is increasing tremendously. And unless we really think of contributing to this in a sustainable way, and even companies that we're part of are not having sustainable targets, I doubt if you're going to really have a planet for ourselves to live on. So this is a big challenge for us. And I think this is something that we really need to take action urgently, else we're going to have devastating consequences. As you can see, even the carbon dioxide emissions, which are the largest contributor to the warming that's happening, will increase because of the way we live. And the temperatures are already increasing. As you can see, maybe if you notice some changes when you go to, if you travel to some countries and some glaciers, you can see chunks of ice falling in front of you. It's actually no more a dream, a fiction, or something that you can ignore. It's something that's happening in front of you. So how do we live, or how do companies manage this challenge, and countries as well? And to this, there has been an agreement in 2016. It's called a Paris Agreement, where 21 countries have actually come together and have signed this agreement in 2016, as I said. And then they all agreed that we want to actually achieve climate neutrality, right? This means that we are looking at, assume that we need to have zero carbon dioxide emissions, which means by 20 in, let's say you take 600 gigatons of carbon dioxide emissions to be reduced by reduced, and currently the carbon dioxide emissions is around 40 gigatons, and we want to reduce it completely to zero. It would take us 15 years, which means from 2016, it needs 15 years, so 2020, 2031, 31, 32. However, after the Paris Agreement, instead of a decrease in carbon dioxide emissions, we have actually seen an increase in carbon dioxide emissions, which means the agreements are not helping. We just take it for granted to kind of be okay with the stories about glaciers melting, or the Arctic Circle, the ice melting there, and all that. We just take it for granted because it's not really affecting us directly. However, it's not true. It is real, and therefore it really needs urgent action from all of us and companies to really address this issue. And by 2021, as I speak, the levels have actually touched 40 gigatons or higher this point of time. It was slightly lower last year because of COVID, but it has now gone back to 2019 levels, which means that from 2020 onwards, if we calculate, we might actually take longer, 2040 or 2050, to really achieve climate neutrality. So this is really something that we need to be aware of, and that really the actions are to be taken urgently. With that said, let's go back to what could be the impact if we don't take actions. If you don't take actions right away, you will have effects on our nature, on the environment around us, which means you would have forest fires. You may already have seen forest fires happening in Australia, in the US, because of this warming. Also, the loss of biodiversity, it's going to be a big threat that onto the planet. It's actually a bigger threat than the climate change itself. So that's going to be also bad for the planet in terms of having this imbalance. Also, hurricanes, cyclones, loss of certain species completely, including humans if you don't take actions. So these are some pictures I just want to share with all of you so that you know the impact of what we're talking is actually important. That I'm happy that Helios Club is formed and you have the session to kind of engage yourself on this topic and also understand how various companies are doing their bit to address these challenges. Now, having said that, the global challenges, what the market is expecting, and here I would like to focus specifically on the lubrication industry, but it could be applied to all maybe sectors. What the market is expecting right now from suppliers is energy efficient and environmental friendly products. Yeah, so everybody is looking for biodegradable products, something you can actually dispose to environment and yet does not affect the marine life. Then you have also services along with products. Market is also expecting services which are measurable. So you don't just say, okay, it's a great service, it's an energy efficient product. You also want to demonstrate these services in terms of exactly showcasing to them that, hey, because of using these products, you are losing or you're gaining you're saving some energy and therefore gaining on your machine lifetimes. So these are also something that market is expecting right now. You also have an expectation on reduced costs, which means while the companies are actually providing products and services, they also have targets to reduce the total cost of ownership. So this is also something that a demand from the market. And in addition to all the three above, we have these days companies are also having these sustainability officers, carbon dioxide emission targets to achieve. So this is what we as lubrication manufacturers face, that we need to provide products, services, reduce costs, and also it should be aligning with their sustainability goals. So it's not an easy challenge that we have. And this is what every company is facing right now. Now, how does Klueber address these challenges is what I'm going to talk about in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And please also note that it's not something that has been undertaken just recently. It's been always on top of the company's responsibility to make sure that every product that is out there is energy efficient, is environmental friendly, and the services provided are actually demonstrating these products' performances and also minimizing the total cost of ownership. So it just happens to be that we are just approaching the topic and presenting the topic in a different way now that the needs are changing and the presentation is different now. So what we've done here is, first of all, we worked on the innovation in terms of the way we looked at the strategy. So when you talk strategy, what does it mean? We say something called footprint and handprint. It means that we don't just look at a product as a product we are selling to the customers or to the market. We start from the kind of sourcing we're doing to manufacturing the product, to transporting the product and the use of the product in the application and the disposal of the product eventually. So all 5 steps are important end to end across a chain. So we have really consciously divided it into watching each space or each journey of the product from the start to the end. So we call it something called life cycle assessment, LCA. And here we have 2 aspects we have broken down into. One is called footprint, which is till here, from the source of the raw material that goes into the manufacturing of the product to the gate before it gets shipped to the customers. This is the footprint. This is what we would like to minimize as a company, that we actually use the energy which is renewable We use resources and of raw materials which are environmentally friendly, and even the suppliers are also following certain norms and regulations. And the transportation of this as well happens in a more environmentally friendly way. Now that's about footprint. That's what we want to minimize. And what are we calling about maximizing handprint? Which means we want to also look at the customer's application where a lubricant is going in, and how it's being used and how it's being disposed eventually. So we want to maximize the handprint as well. And therefore, it's across from a zero, from the sourcing to the disposal is what we look at. And this is very, very important for us. Now, this is a very important slide for all of you to have a look at. We have again broken it down onto various categories, looking from materials perspective, waste, water, energy, emissions, and even including the people who are handling these across the chain, and seeing if their health is protected. As I said, three things: profit, people, and planet. So from a footprint perspective, the raw material selection is very carefully done. The vendors who are actually providers of this raw material and their sources is carefully done, and also very compliant with the regulations of the industry as per the market segment. We would also comply it, and also making sure that the materials are harmless or innocuous to the environment. So this is something that we take immense care on when we choose materials which go into the products. And when it comes to waste, we also make sure that the production wastage is minimized. And when it goes in the customer's premises, the lubrication is longer, or as long as possible, up to the lifetime of the equipment itself. And the recycling possibilities are also there for the products. When it comes to energy, we want to actually have a lot of green energy. So I think 45% of it, 50% of it actually comes from renewable sources. And we're continuing to work towards having all the production sites working on renewable sources of energy to manufacture. And also energy efficiency is also a topic even for the company itself when they produce lubricants. And of course, also I will show you later that how we measure the energy consumptions and the emissions at the customer point as well. Similarly with emissions, local sourcing, local production. So we want to minimize the transport. So we don't want to purchase from Germany or USA these raw materials. We want to look for alternatives within the country or the region. So therefore, minimizing the amount of carbon emissions required to procure these products, so source these products and produce these products. Also, the amount of water, we also measure this. And also, we're also looking at biodegradable products, wherein you are looking at base oils. The ingredients that are going into the products are friendly to the environment and can easily be let's say disposed, or let's say minimizing the impact on the environment. And finally, the health and safety of the people engaged in the process are also looked at. So this is something that we have really built in a long it's a very strong focus on maximizing the handprint and minimizing the footprint for customers and across all these categories. Now, that was about strategy innovation, and we have actually published a report. I'll quickly take you through the report. You just have a look. So we published a report for like 5 years now. This is called the sustainability report. And here, we're not just talking, but we're really engaging the readers on certain KPIs or the key performance indicators on various topics that I've just shown to you. So, so as I said here, it's a responsibility for the company. It's aligned with the values. So materials, waste, energy, emissions, water, all of this is important for the company and this, the KPIs are all published. Let me show you. Yeah, KPIs are published. You have direct energies per ton of product produced, indirect energy per ton of product produced. You have carbon dioxide emissions. The KPIs are measured. Then you have also work accidents, trainings per day, the number of sites actually aligned with various regulations. Just a moment. Yeah, here the waste generated per ton of product, water consumption per ton of product. So there's a lot of emphasis on making sure that every site produces it in a way that's sustainable. Okay, so that's about the strategic part of it. But coming to the product itself, what we have done consciously as a specialty lubricant manufacturer is, first of all, engage with the customers. Yeah. But in addition to that, internally, we also have developed something called sustainability scorecards, where we look at each of the product that is coming out of Klueber and categorize them and measure it across the impact it has on environment and energy efficiency. And if the impact is positive, we upgrade the product. So this was started in 2011. And in 2017, we have achieved this classification in a nice way, where the screening has been done. And most of the products have been now upgraded to outperformers because they have a positive impact on the environment and energy. And there are also products, let me tell you, which have been seen as negatively contributing to the environment and energy, and therefore they have been downgraded and eventually phased out. And so what we're doing also is really choosing the ingredients in such a way that it minimizes the impact on the environment and energy. So these are various steps from a product perspective that we have taken to make sure that the products that are coming out are biodegradable, environmental friendly. We're also talking something called hydro lubricants, where the base oil itself can be water. Yeah, this is something that we're looking at also to produce and really minimizing the impact on the planet as a whole. All right, that's about the product. Now, when it comes to service, as I said, the market is also demanding services, which are also demonstrable. So what we have offered is something called energy efficiency services. And here you will see that we have again categorized it based on the kind of a customer that we have. So if the customer is in a confident state where they believe in Klueber solution and they already are going by the success stories in the past from various other customers, we just offer it to them and they start using it right away. However, there some customers actually do not want to take a risk. They want to test the product first and then take it forward. We also give them some kind of a measurement approach where we provide to them a kind of a approach and methodology before and after approach, so they can really see the benefits of using the lubricants and the impact on the power consumption in their application. Finally, the return on investment, the last one. Some customers actually want to say, we don't want to invest in your solution or your product because it's too high, because we are using a low performance, or let's say a mineral oil or not a specialty product. And so your product is expensive, so we don't want to spend so much of money. For such customers, we have another proposal, which is called energy performance contract. I'll talk about that in a while, in some time. And there you would see that they're only paying while they're consuming. That means you don't pay and then later consume. This is the model in the second stage, but you are actually you're seeing the energy savings and you're paying according to the energy savings that are realized. So this is what we are also doing with respect to services. Now, I will skip this slide. This is nothing but before and after. What I want to show you is a video quickly to show what we're doing with respect to measurements. Yeah. So let me quickly jump to this video. Okay. Professor Rajan, can you hear the audio? Is the audio?
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's
okay, fine.
Audible.
Acho que o objetivo de toda empresa, de qualquer negócio, é fazer mais, melhor e com eficiência. E a resposta para isso é a inovação. Nossa parceria com a Klueber vem de muito tempo, há mais ou menos 10 anos. Temos confiança no conhecimento técnico e nos produtos Klueber.
No projeto com a Intersemente, o foco foi o moinho de bolas. Primeiro, fizemos medições com óleo convencional que o cliente estava utilizando. Em seguida, trocamos para o lubrificante especial Klueber Lubrication e comparamos a diferença no comportamento do consumo energético por causa do lubrificante especial. Analisamos 28 variáveis, gerando mais de 1 milhão de dados, garantindo precisão e resultados confiáveis. Mais uma vez, comprovamos a eficiência energética com o uso dos nossos lubrificantes especiais que geram benefícios aos nossos clientes em economia de energia, melhoria operacional e sustentabilidade.
Para nós, da área de suprimentos, é sempre interessante tratarmos de projetos que tragam redução de custos para a nossa operação. No caso da Klueber, nós negociamos muito mais que uma simples troca de lubrificante. Nós precisávamos de uma garantia de que a economia projetada realmente acontecesse, isso tudo com uma viabilidade econômica e sustentável. No final da primeira etapa, o ganho de 6,5% acabou superando a meta inicial. Isso foi muito positivo.
Para o projeto de eficiência energética, realizamos o levantamento de dados de processo mecânico e elétrico, que são fundamentais para a comprovação dos resultados. Somos pioneiros na medição e comprovação dos resultados de eficiência energética em diversos clientes e equipamentos. Com a nossa metodologia, reduzimos o consumo de energia ou o consumo específico, com a troca do óleo convencional para o especial Klueber Lubrication.
A Klueber vai além de entregar o produto, temos uma verdadeira parceria, uma excelência no atendimento e um pós-venda muito engajado. O pessoal gosta do que faz.
A melhor forma de garantir o crescimento e a longevidade do seu negócio é por meio de soluções inovadoras. Foi assim com a Intersemente e centenas de clientes beneficiados pelos projetos de eficiência energética da Klueber Lubrication no mundo todo. Essa conquista de resultados tangíveis e sustentáveis é o que nos motiva.
Okay, that was a video which showcases that we are not just talking energy efficiency, but we are actually proving energy efficiency. So when we say 6.5% of energy savings because of using specialty lubricants, it is not just talk, but we have mathematical models which support them. And there's a like a baseline and post retrofit kind of a measurement, before and after measurements, let's say, in simple terms. And we showcase that there's a specific power consumption per ton of, in this case, cement output, which actually is what the customer looks at, and he believes in the lubricants and the tangible results and savings that they achieve. So this is about how we approach the services along with the products. So services are complementing the products that we actually offer. So now what we also done now as a head of digital services, I'm also integrated this on a platform now. This is on a digital platform. We have various services around the lubrication point, but one of the services is energy efficiency. We also have condition monitoring, we have inspections, we have condition analysis and so on. But energy efficiency is now integrated as one of the services on one single platform. And this is also something that we have innovated on in terms of the way we approach customers in the market, while also reducing TCO, total cost of ownership. Most important thing I want to highlight is the business model innovation. As I mentioned, we have introduced something called energy performance contracting. Now, this is only in case the customers are reluctant to spend on our oils. So the oil change from mineral oil to high performance lubricants, obviously, in some cases, it's a big hurdle and they're not convinced on the savings. And so they would like to really have a model which is easier on their budgets. And therefore, we've come up with this very specific offer, which is where the customers can actually pay. It's a variable payment and which is linked to the proven savings. So they only pay when they actually see the savings. So there will be a base price which we agree upon, which is slightly higher than the price of the oil that they're actually having in their application. On top of it, we have a variable base price, which is only linked to the savings. If the savings is achieved, of course, they pay in full. If the savings is not achieved, they do not pay. They only pay to the proportion of the savings that has been achieved. If we do not achieve savings within the payback period of, actually we agree on 2 years, then they don't pay anything to us. So of course, it shows that we are also making a big claim that our products are really energy efficient and sustainable. And so the basic how it works is this: we agree on a price and the specific basic price and is paid in full. And then we agree on a targets. So let's say 3%, 4% targets on energy savings. And this is in the contract there, and they only pay as per the energy savings they realize. And if the target is missed, the price drops proportionally as per the savings that has been achieved. And this is a new model that we have actually come up with because, while we may think our products and services are great, not every customer is willing to kind of welcome us with, open hands. So we also thought to also engage in a business model innovation. And this is also what we are doing to really enter the market and align and assist them on achieving their sustainability goals. Now, I also have a short video on the same concept, which can give you a quick idea of what it means.
Do you always face challenges purchasing lubricants? On the one hand, you are intended to achieve sustainable goals. On the other hand, you have targets to reduce costs and at the same time increase production output. For example, by reducing downtime. The solution for many machines would be high-end performance synthetic lubricants. But these seem too expensive compared to conventional lubricants based on mineral oil, and potential energy savings appear uncertain. Klueber Energy has the solution to this problem. EPC, our energy performance contracting model for specialty lubricants, can be booked as an additional service within the framework of Klueber Energy projects with a high sales volume. We know that there are costs involved in switching to synthetic oil. EPC for specialty lubricants overcompensate these expenses by lower energy costs for your machines. How does it look like? With an attractive basic price, we lower your hurdle for upgrading to our high-performance lubricants. At predetermined measuring points, we scale the energy savings. If the energy savings are visible, a so-called variable selling price is calculated, which is defined in the framework supply agreement with Klueber Lubrication. To ensure accurate measurement results, we follow internationally recognized measurement standards, such as the IPMVP and ISO 50015. If there is no saving, you only pay the basic price. Best of all, you pay the variable purchase price while the cost savings are already taking place. This supports you to achieve your goal of greater sustainability and pays off in less than 2 years. Energy performance contracting for our specialty lubricants. Klueber Lubrication. Others claim, we prove.
Okay, I hope that gave you some glimpse of what we're talking about in terms of business model innovation there. What I've shown you today so far is how we have approached the topic both on footprint and handprint level, from the sourcing to manufacturing to transporting to application at the customer's point to disposal across the chain. and how we have worked on products when it comes to looking at the product and its impact on energy and environment, and upgrading or downgrading them based on the impact, and how we have also approached services in terms of demonstrating services, not just claiming that it's 3%, 4% savings, but we also demonstrated with energy meters and data models that actually substantiate the claims. And finally, we also offering to the market those where we have hurdles with respect to investments. We're also coming up with these energy performance contracting, and also being able to support the customers on their sustainability goals. Now, what's the outlook for the company? The goal is to be a driver of sustainable solutions. Now, what does it mean for our customers, for the society, and the planet? Which is by 3 steps here that is mentioned: cooperating with our suppliers for ethical sourcing and continually improving raw material footprint, step-by-step increasing resources and energy efficiency in our own processes and changing to green energies, managing our existing portfolio and new developments with respect to sustainability, and along this life cycle. So the life cycle assessment is becoming increasingly important for us. We don't just say we're just supplying to the market, but also looking at the disposal and the end of life treatment of the products as well. This is at 2019 that we have actually, this was highlighted, but 2025, the goal is to actually produce all our products with 50% of green electricity. In fact, this already has been achieved. I was talking to the sustainability manager from the headquarters today, and the target is actually now 100%. So it's quite ambitious now. And to also now reduce carbon dioxide emissions per ton of my product produced by 40%. And the base year is 2019. And we also have an absolute carbon dioxide emissions, which are also including indirect emissions and so on. That's target is to reduce it by 75%. And we also kind of look at energy services and the amount of carbon dioxide emissions that have been equivalent carbon dioxide emissions that have been saved or minimized with every energy saving project. We have a target of 350 gigawatt hours. So these are all ambitious targets. However, this also means that we know that the actions that are needed are urgent and important, and therefore this is actually an important step for even the company and the society to actually be able to sustain on this planet. So this is not my last slide actually. So this is my last slide, maybe last but one slide. There is a recent conference which held in 2021, and it has already shown that we may not be able to achieve the targets before 2030 or 2045. In fact, we're gonna achieve 1.5 degrees of warming 10 years earlier, before 2030, and 2 grades warming by 2045. So this is just a slide I've taken from the recent report that has been published based on the climate change panel that has kind of come together and produce this report. And you can expect a lot of changes happening. So the action is very, very urgent. And so we may have to act right away to really make sure that the impact of individual level and the company level is minimized. Yeah. Yeah. So just one more thing. I just doodled this today. So I thought I'll share this with you. Sustainability is everyone's responsibility, and it's surely a responsibility to do everything within our power to create a planet that provides a home, not just for us, but for all life on Earth. And I think if we don't take it seriously now, we may have to really suffer or maybe have to take a very quick actions to really reverse the impact that we have had so far. So with that said, I would say I would now open the floor for questions. If I'm not able to answer the questions in this session, please feel free to write to me at this email ID, and I'll be happy to connect with you and give you more detailed responses to your questions. Thank you so much for the opportunity to Professor Ramesh and Professor Rajan for coordinating this, and to all of you to show your interest on this topic. Thank you. And please feel free to ask questions. Unmute yourself. And if there are some questions on the chat, please, and maybe also take them.
So, sir, the first question is from our very own professor, Professor A.G. Krishnan. So he asks, carbon credits was something vigorously discussed between 2006 to 2010. So are these now available now also with a monetary incentive?
Okay. Oh, wow. I was reading about this actually, about carbon credits in general, and if we have actually looked at it. But this is another step in the direction of carbon neutrality. So I cannot answer this question right away because it's something that I have to really look into from a company perspective. But I'm sure there are companies availing of these benefits, right? So carbon offsetting is one of the approaches here. So they are looking at buying some carbon credits and therefore minimizing the impact of their own businesses and making it neutral, something like that. But are they available or not? I think it depends on the governments and the companies' policies to kind of see and approach it accordingly. So maybe I can get back to you, Professor, with more details from our company perspective. I can't comment on what's happening at the India level at this point.
Sure, sir. Sir, there is one more question from the same professor. He asks, is crude oil the major raw material for lubricants? Maybe you can answer that.
Yes, definitely. So no, not necessarily crude oil. We actually use a base oil, which is actually refined from crude, of course. So it's of course when you're manufacturing a specialty lubricant, the base oils could be mostly synthesized in the laboratory. So you still have the mineral oils, which is again a refined product from the crude, and even from the mineral oils. You have synthesis of various oils. For example, those who are familiar with lubricants may know we have something called polyalpha olefins. You also have something called polyglycols. You have something called ester oils and something called silicone oils. So these are all synthesized in the laboratories. And although the crude is the base, but we procure from suppliers who process the crude and synthesize them in the laboratories, and we use a base oil from them, and then we add some additives and I mean there's some chemistry that goes inside in terms of if it's a grease, if you have different complexes there. If it's an oil, you actually have additives there. Depending on the application, we have different additives that go in. So that would be the answer for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So there is one more question. There's one question from our student, executive MBA student, Dr. MJ Yanjarappa. Yeah. So he asks, the demand is increasing in all the sectors, and while forecasting these demands, do we really consider the role of positive disruptive technologies, agrotechnology, and alternative fuels like hydrogen and biofuels?
Sorry, could you just repeat that?
So he's asking, the demand is definitely increasing in all the sectors. So while forecasting these demands, did we really consider the role of positive disruptive technologies, agrotechnology, alternative fuels like hydrogen, biofuels? So are these even considered, while forecasting demands, and, how they would sort of play out, while you are forecasting these demands and trying to, find alternatives and all that. So this is the question posed by one of the students.
Okay, hi. I mean, if I have to build a report or a forecast for this, definitely this needs to be factored in. And anyway, there's a lot of emphasis to move from the regular sources of electricity generation to renewables. And when we present the reports as well, I was looking at the electricity mix for countries. You see, it is very important to actually look at this migration, because for India, for example, we still rely a lot on coal as a source of electricity and power. So, and it's actually 0.75 carbon dioxide, kgs of carbon dioxide per ton per kilowatt hour of electricity produced. So it's actually slightly on higher side. Germany is on 0.38, and countries like Norway and all are actually coming closer to very low levels. They have promised or taken targets which are even like 100% green energies. So I guess it's very important. I don't know which forecast you're looking at, but it's important to factor in these alternative sources of energies and positive disruptions that that could go a long way in terms of reducing our impact, I would say.
Sir, there's one more question. So does technology transfer from matured nations to developing nations help in the sustainability efforts?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we are like, for example, right now I can talk about our own company. Since Germany being a developed nation, they have a lot of emphasis and on reducing energy. There's a lot of focus on wind and solar there. And we definitely benefit because we learn and we are actually asked to reconsider the way we produce electricity, the way we manufacture products. So, and I'm sure it's happening in every company, and every government is also looking at it. So the developed nations are definitely a good role model. Also, it doesn't necessarily mean it's in a positive way, because some countries may still be increasing their energy consumptions, and so the individuals may not be very aware of it, of how to live a sustainable lifestyle and all that. So I would say sustainability is more becoming an individual responsibility. We cannot anymore live on even advanced nations to developing nations or underdeveloped nations. I would say within India as well, you would have people who are living very highly sustainable lifestyles, and people are also living very, very low. So I think although we can benefit from this, but also individually also we should see that around you will have people who are living in a sustainable way. And so that also should happen, is what I would say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So there is one interesting question from our student. He says that he's not from an engineering background, but for someone like him, what are the career opportunities in this domain for fresh MBA students?
Oh,
or somebody from a non-technical background or non-engineering background. I mean, are there any opportunities available in your industry as such?
I mean, it's now, you see, there's some skill sets you need across industries. For example, in this case, for example, data analytics is something that you may have to utilize, and now it's becoming more easier. So the one who is driving this project, for example, of course, he's good at statistics and all that, but the one who is talking about it may not know anything about mathematical models, but they know how to present it, for example. And it's so, I mean, we have people across different kinds of people working on these projects. Some who are the back end working on technology. So there's one person who's built the big data algorithm, and some person who's working on collecting data. There's some person who's presenting the data to the customers, and so I am sure that you will find your space. I'm sure everybody should find a space, and I think the sustainability and energy efficiency topic is going to be increasingly important in every company and every industry. And you will find some space. I mean, whichever background you're part of, if not engineering background, I'm sure that you will have some space in there, I guess, because we also do a lot of consulting, energy consulting, sustainable reporting and all that. So they're also, and also marketing, for example, we do a lot of marketing. So maybe if you're good at marketing, you don't need engineering background to be a marketing professional. So maybe think of that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think we come to the end of our session. So before I let you go, I would like to give a small vote of thanks, sir. So on behalf of Helios Club and on behalf of Dayanand Sagar University, the founders, the dean, the faculty, the students, my staff and the club members, I would like to thank you for sparing your valuable time and talking to all of us. For sure, this is just the beginning, sir. So we'll definitely continue to engage with you in the future in different capacities and different topics that you could probably touch upon. It will be very interesting because it's quite important for this sort of a club where, we really address these kind of issues and topics and all that. And also for our participants of this, I would like to tell you that we are also planning to engage with the next speaker, and his name is Mr. Anand Malligawad. So if you have, I'm sure many of you would have heard about him, read about him. He is also called as the lake conservationist at Bengaluru. So he has sort of revived around 15 lakes across Bengaluru. So as part of the Energy Club, I think he is the next speaker we are trying to engage with. I think that also will be as engaging and as exciting as this particular session. So the dates and everything will be shared with all of you very soon, but we are just trying to find his availability. In the meantime, sir, thank you very much for your valuable time. And it was wonderful talking to you, interacting with you, and hear you share your experiences from your personal journey through Klueber. And amazing, sir. We can't wait to see you in the next session whenever that happens in the near future. Thank you very much. Good evening to you, sir. Have a wonderful day. And good evening to all the participants. And yeah, thank you very much and good night.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you. And
Thank you
hopefully
very
it was
much.
useful
Thank
for
you.
all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.